So now we're going to have an exciting panel. We'll have Timothy Wong, the head of Impact Lab at AAX, and Alex Meurer, the investor and the co-founder of Fitburn. And the topic will be, is there a way for the crypto sector to avoid Bitcoin's halving-related bear markets? It's an interesting topic. And it will be moderated by Rauan Khassan, the Vice President of International Growth at TradingView. So let me welcome all my guests. Welcome you all.
Hi everyone. Merhaba Istanbul. Thanks for having us. Just before we start this conversation, whenever you feel there is a need for a question, please raise the hand so that we accommodate a sufficient time for the request, as we are mindful of the time being. It's a great opportunity for us to connect at the Blockchain Economy Summit in Istanbul, and I really appreciate the efforts done by the organizers to bring the entrepreneurial spirit through Fitburn, the exchange point of things through AX and Timothy, and the platform aspect through TradingView and me. I was surprised though when we've recognized the suggested topic to discuss would be the Bitcoin halving of the market that is just in mid-cycle, and we only expect to address it within next 2 years. So we are quite well prepared to discuss that, much more available time than 30 minutes. I guess my first question comes to Alex here. Why do you think it's important to consider the Bitcoin halving discussion as early as 2 years ahead of the event itself?
So there are still a lot of people that, especially in the retail market, that don't understand how crypto overall is actually working, and that the markets are moving in cycles, especially Bitcoin. So, and they just buy at any given moment when the media is telling them to buy, which is, as we all know, not the best moment always to buy, because they buy either the top, sometimes they buy completely at the bottom. But if they would understand how cycles and markets are working, they could basically understand that when they buy close or just after the halving, that this is historically for an investor that is not familiar with how markets are actually working, the best moment to buy historically. When you look back on the charts, and you would have always bought exactly just before the halving and would have kept your coins until the next halving, you would have at least doubled or tripled your investment.
So you just mentioned it's not the right or not the best time to enter the market. And here is the most proficient question to Timothy, right? What is the means for the right moment to enter in the market? Do we consider the opportunity through the absolute pricing, or through the through other metrics such as volatility?
Yeah, I think the question that we should be asking is really, what is the underlying value of digital Bitcoin halving?
I would really say that I doubt that the price should be the only metric and reference we are looking into.
Yeah. So obviously, Bitcoin halving is really part of the overall strategy in really deflationary asset, similar to gold and traditional assets. There's a limited amount of resources. That's why we call it digital gold, right? In Bitcoin, and that's really, I think, in a way for us to pack the inflationary environment right now, that we really need to drive this kind of like adoptions towards digital currencies. Yeah.
That's cool. Alex, I guess we need some portion of your entrepreneurial experience. I've had a chance to talk to you right before this conversation, and I was excited to recognize that you are running a couple of crypto and blockchain related projects at the same time. So what are the possible solutions to get to the high volatile event
Sorry, I didn't get the last part.
What are the possible solutions that you see is required for either an individual or a company to get prepared for the high volatility event? That could be Bitcoin halving or a major pricing disruption.
Yeah, so for a retail investor, it's obviously way different than for a company, because for a retail investor, you can just sign up on an exchange, buy Bitcoin whenever he feels like. But with a company, it's not that easy, because they have to take care of certain regulations. So they have a lot of basically pitfalls when they want to enter the market. We saw this with a lot of companies wanting and actually entering the markets and buying Bitcoin just before Bitcoin went through the roof, and they actually missed the train because regulatory, they were not prepared with their paperwork to get into the market. Doesn't matter if it was based on the SEC, because they had to do filings with them, or with other regulatory organs in the world. So for companies, I think it's the best thing that they can do is that they get everything in order, they connect with the right people, to basically get into the crypto space. So, and there are a lot of companies that can help with that already today. For example, MicroStrategy, they have their own academy where they help companies with that to buy Bitcoin. And I think that's the easiest approach, at least for companies, when they want to be exposed to the volatility of an asset like Bitcoin.
You're right to mention that the flexibility of the company update to its portfolio or its to crypto exposure overall is much more limited as compared to the opportunities that's available with individual and retail trader and investor. So I guess that could be one of the reasons behind those dramatic developments that we've seen in the market since the start of this year, right? I'm obviously referring to Terra Luna crash, to the lawsuits around 3AC and Celsius, and perhaps here the Timothy's view on the way how it can be best addressed on a corporate level, on a company level. We are obviously not only going into the so-called crypto winter season, but we are also going into the trust issue season. And like one of the upcoming challenges that each of us would need to address in the coming months, or maybe even quarters and years, would be the solutions how to rebuild trust, how to communicate back to the audience that's currently listening to us, that even though those like volatile and like obviously negative, sometimes even unacceptable events have happened, what are we exactly doing and addressing not to make this happen again in the coming years?
That's a long question. I'll break that down into different parts. So I guess the first part is around challenges. Obviously, there are a lot of unique challenges when we go into emerging markets, when we're driving this digital asset adoptions. That's why from our kind of Forrester report that we partner with, if you guys have the time, there's a QR code behind your chair. Feel free to download the free report. It's a marketing research that we commissioned and partnered with Forrester on the adoptions of digital assets in emerging markets. So we see education is being the key element of empowering people to get into this space, get into this like landscape. And the challenge for us is that different markets have different unique challenges, and we need to go from from a global company, global exchange, to really localizing it, to understanding the problem each market is having. Maybe it's inflation in Turkey, maybe it's bankless in Nigeria. So these are the challenges that we have to break down and distill into more reliable content for consumers, for people in the local markets. I think with the opportunities that we have right now, really calls for us to shape up as an industry. With all these kind of like three arrows, with Luna crash and everything. As an industry, we really believe this is the time for us to partner together We don't see competitions. We see partnerships through our other exchanges, through industry, through governments, in creating a more regulated environment, more safe, more trust-worthy environment for emerging markets, especially. And
Is TradingView part of that plan? Sort of a personal question.
Sorry?
Is TradingView part of that plan? Sort of a personal question. On a serious note, if you have got any consent to share with us any specific measures or initiatives that you are considering to apply in order to address this stability and guarantee that would be provided to AX users as compared to other partners.
Yeah.
I think that would be one of the most exciting insights that we can get from you.
So your question is around how AX is trying to build trust in emerging markets. Is that correct? So I think building trust, it's similar in a relationship. We all been through it. We learn through ups and downs. And this is time where we're learning right now. So in order to build trust, I think there's three important factors. First part is really to be more communicative, to be more transparent in terms of how we can, for each market, how we can really talk to the locals, talk to their problems, talk through solving the issues that is going on around in the world right now. The second part is really we have to be purposeful and also be consistent with what we're communicating with for each local markets. We can change our narrative. We really believe in digital asset adoptions because this is solving world issues. I think the last part is, I talked about it earlier, it's about we don't see competitions, we see partnerships. And that's why we're here to connect with like-minded, with all of you guys to driving these adoptions towards emerging markets.
Thank you. Alex, I feel that we've brought a bit of spotlight from you, so let's try to fix it ASAP.
I'm fine.
So we are obviously focusing on like the most critical, on the most radical changes that are happening to the market. Like anyone knows about the bankruptcy files, about 95% drawdowns. And if your drawdown is below 90%, do not even mean to complain, right? Because there is always so much better, worse examples. But again, on a serious note, it's like a challenging time, not only in the trust environment, like not only in ethereal or abstract definitions, but in a very specific business potential. So which insights would you share with us? What challenges and opportunities do you see when covering or talking to blockchain and crypto-related businesses?
So I see right now a big opportunity for projects actually to build, because bear markets are I'm sorry, actually the best time to build. I give you an example. Stepan was a project that launched on the top of the last cycle. Now it's only going down the hill because they launched now in hindsight with bad timing. If they would have launched 8 months, 10 months earlier, I believe they would have done now way better than they are doing now. So and these are things when you look at the cycle in crypto, specifically in Bitcoin, and you compare it to the halving cycles, then you can see that again around close or just after the halving, if you launch there a project, it would do much better than if you do it at the end of the cycle at the top, because then everybody wants to get out of the market again, you know, because we have these Wall Street cheat sheet psychological market cycles, how the market is behaving with the euphoria, with the despair and the distrust, the disbelief stages. So and it's really funny because it works every time, so it doesn't matter how many times we repeat that, this cycle is repeating over and over with the retail market. So so if I would be out there and I would have an idea, I would start building actually right now, because it gives you a big advantage now to do that before the halving actually is happening and before we see another euphoric rally to the upside.
Yeah. So even if that may sound straightforward and upfront, there is a very exciting topic to engage you both. Like, there is known truth, right? You need to start early within the market. Projects that start late in the cycle, they have got very limited exposure in terms of time availability. So like usually they do not extract as much potential value as possible. But at the same time, okay, if you need to start early in the cycle, you need to have this guarantee support. So to have the means of developing the project. That's one point. The other point that is perhaps mostly overlooked when anyone is advising to start early, how do you attract the audience early in the cycle, where it is where everyone is still focused about like previous failures, previous anti-success stories. So how do you change the audience mindset? How do you explain them that the past cycle is past and like this is the new stage, like new element engagement?
Yeah, so first of all, if you have like a product or you want to create something, then of course the product itself, so you have to convince your audience that your product is standing out from everything what we have seen, or at least that it's better, so than what's in the market right now. If you have a product now, for example, as Ethereum, so and you launch Ethereum in a bear market, doesn't matter. So because it's new technology that you introduce into the market, so and there you're not exposed to all these kind of hype things that we have seen, for example, last year with DeFi, with NFTs and all these kind of things that are working well in the bull market, but are not performing so well now in the bear market, especially what we have seen with all these DeFi protocols, with FreeAC, Voyager, all these companies, Celsius, that are now filing off for bankruptcy.
I believe that is mutually recognized that the intensity of the projects update within the crypto industry is one of the most exciting parts of it, right? Like, whatever parameter you would have a look. Let's compare market capitalization of top 10 crypto tickers in 2017 and in 2022. You would have less intersecting names that you would imagine. Similar happens to crypto participants. Think of the list of top 10 exchanges, how one would look in 2017 and how is it looking now. So like this is an ongoing challenge that also like open an opportunity like to shape up and come up with new ideas. So at the same time there is an element of industry maturing over time. So my open question to Alex and Timothy both would be, how do you expect the names to keep changing as rapidly and radically as they've been before? Or do you think we are already in the stage of maturing of the market so that those sweet spots would get more reserved over time and there would be less volatility among them?
So I think when we look back in the past, we have already seen that the market has heavily matured in the last couple of years, and I think there are definitely some names that will for a long time stick around. So one of them could be OKX, the other one could be Binance, another one could sorry. Another one could be TradingView. So these are established companies in the market that I don't see go away anytime soon. So, and the same goes for certain projects out there. So Bitcoin is something that will never go away. Ethereum is something that never goes away. So, but something like Axie Infinity, maybe next year they're gone. Who knows? So, of course, the list of top 10 capitalization coins, they will always be evolving, but we have now seen that some of these projects have crystallized over the years out of all the other coins that we have that are sticking around.
Yeah,
Timothy.
I think what we need to do is look past the hype
Yes.
behind this whole economy asset class and really like, define it in a way that is a necessity for people. So we have to attach this into part of the lifestyle. That's why when we talk about partnerships, when we talk about going local, it really needs to have solve a more kind of like a bigger problem towards maybe it's inflation in Turkey, maybe it's bankless in Nigeria, maybe it's women working in Brazil that don't have any money. So these are things that we need to take care of in terms of like focusing on the lifestyle, focusing on the life journey, and making Bitcoin or even digital assets as a necessity for the overall economy.
Yeah, and to your other question, if we see coins basically more rapidly changing or sticking around for a longer time, so I think this process has already slowed down. So we don't see so many projects popping up and disappearing at the same time than what we have seen in the past. So there is a certain longevity now already there for certain projects.
Yeah, we've got no more ICOs being discussed.
Yeah.
We've got NFTs though. We've got Metaverse. We've got Web3. What do you see as sort of overlooked subcategory, sub-industry within the crypto space?
For me, I think that's why we started something called AX Impact Lab. What does it really mean is we are a research development team where we have our own research, we have our own like engineers, developers. What we do is we look into trends, upcoming trends. It's NFT, Web3, DAO, Metaverse, and what we really want to do is connect them with the underlying values of each technology and each economy. That's why we would connect it into a social impact angle, really connecting with carbon trading or even like impact, something called Impact NFT. We created this partnership with L in Taiwan. What this Impact NFT does is it allows people to understand the underlying technology and also the economy of NFT. At the same time, doing good for the society. So we partner with the SPCA, the world's biggest pet adoption company, into driving this for every NFT sale. It's not about making money. It's not about generating revenue, but it's actually giving back to the society, giving back to the community. So we're shifting this conversation of how blockchain, how NFT is really driving the hype again, right? Yeah, into more utilities focus, into more necessity focus. That's what we're trying to do in AX, and that's why we really focus on impact and inclusion, looking beyond just the technology itself, looking beyond just the coin itself, just the tokenomic itself, but really focusing on down to what's the real problem that we're solving for each market.
That is an excellent response. Thank you, Timothy. I'm having a 5-minute notice ahead of this panel to end. So if there is any question from the audience, let's use some of this time. Yeah, you please go ahead. If you can introduce yourself, please, and clarify who of the panel participants specifically this question is coming to.
Okay, my name is Alex Atashkar from Golden Sickle Academy. Thank you so much for this advanced panel. This was one of the best panel actually in these 2 days. It was great.
Thank you.
So professional. My question is, you said that any sort of partnership through cryptocurrency gonna be healthy. Do you really believe that all of them gonna be healthy? Because as an example, ETFs in United States are growing so fast, and many professionals believe that having too many ETFs on Bitcoins are not really healthy. So my question is, are we talking about attracting everyone to come and join cryptocurrency industry because it's healthy, or really some of them are not? Thank you so much.
Let me take on this part. I think I used to work in BlackRock for over 3 years, the world's biggest asset management. The reason why we created ETF is to help investors to diversify their portfolio. I think we're at this time, at this moment right now, that we really need to work together with like-minded people, with purposeful brands. That's why we're partnering with Forrester. That's why we're partnering with different players in the industry to really tap into the lifestyle of local people. So for us, again, we don't see competitions, but we see partnerships in order to grow this, to look past the hype and to grow this industry together. That's why in AX ourselves, we focus on savings products because we believe through our research, through our observations, is that in order to get beginners, newbies, to join this wave of digital asset adoptions, it's through savings. That's a key element that they're thinking of behind where should I put my lira, for example, into a more safer environment. So that's when we really create our kind of products, thinking about the local markets. So savings is something that key for everyone. You need to start savings no matter what age you're at. You need to save for retirement, you need to save for your marriage. So looking at the different life stages of each kind of like life journey. And that's where we AX is more kind of like a purposeful driven exchange. We don't even call ourselves as an exchange. We actually call ourselves as a purposeful company, financial company that really wants to drive products and services, not just from an exchange point of view, but also from other areas. Like for example, we have AX Trends. It's a full suite of education academies, empowering people through this journey. It's really important for us.
Let me just briefly add here that if you are wary about the institutional access to the markets, let me kindly challenge you on that, because the institution's access, even to the up-and-coming market, is access to capital. And access to capital is the opportunity for the entrepreneurship spirit to unleash and resolve the potential not only on the idea and paper stage, but also on the amplification stage. And another point that I can perhaps better address from the TradingView standpoint is the access to the regulation, even though that is generally seen as an obsolete element, as a restrictive element. That is one of the defining moments that helps us to stay away from the negatively impacting events, provide some guarantee to the end users so that they are thinking more long term and they're more confident about even engaging within this industry. Any other questions? Well, at least one is better than zero, right?
Yeah.
The final round for you guys. How do you see you by the time we reach Bitcoin halving? Is it a new product for you? Is it your sweet spot within top 10? Please share with us your midterm view on the market and on your position in that market itself.
So I think it could, price-wise, still get worse than what it is now for Bitcoin before the next halving. So even though some indicators are showing that we potentially have already bottomed out, but when you look at the macroeconomic factors in the world right now, there's still so much despair all around the world. that this can still have a macroeconomic effect on all markets out there, not only on crypto. So with the inflation rate hikes that are basically happening every month, and hyperinflation being just around the corner, so this cycle could be much different until the next halving than what we have seen in the past. So, but I'm still convinced that Bitcoin will create a new all-time high just after the next halving.
Thank you. 40 seconds, Timothy.
Yeah. So again, we're here to build for the long run. So we don't make any price indications. We do believe that as we grow into a more kind of sustainable economy, Bitcoin is something that will be needed in especially emerging markets. And that's why for us, AX, the focus is really to get into these emerging markets, to really understand the local markets, to understand their needs, understand their problems, and really tapping into creating products and services for them. So again, AX is here for the long run. We're building a more impact, more sustainable brand in a way that fits into the whole kind of like economy that we want to drive.
Thank you. As for us at TradingView, we are a community-based platform, so we are primarily defined by what you are to say to us or to me personally. So pretty much open to any feedback that you are to share with us. But this comes to the end of this panel. Sincerely enjoyed it, and I hope it's likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.